Hello and good day. I am Anne Pauline Ocampo Ganya, a MAAD student of Pampanga State Agricultural University. And today I will be discussing my research entitled Development and Validation of a Teacher's Manual in Anglo-American Literature. To start off, as you may well all know, students are becoming more and more diversified. To address their progress, teachers must provide them with more learning opportunities. Supplementary materials are academic supports to the existing material that aids teachers in providing these opportunities, according to Kayaning Ruma, Wayunya, Solis Chawatib, and Christian Tib 2016. Teachers may use these supplementary teaching materials to improve students' motivation in different classroom settings, according to Dodd et al. 2015. In the Philippines, the Department of Education has provided existing modules and manuals for teachers. However, the CORE 2015 claims that educators around the world find prescribed materials insufficient in teaching, especially with the growing diversity of learners. For the overview of this study, the study focused in Anglo-American literature. According to the following researchers, Anglo-American literature develops language and other learning skills, inculcates in students various civic skills, and revolutionizes the thought of transformation. Teaching strategies were also included in the manual, which can help develop a variety of techniques to facilitate the teaching and learning, and is affected by factors such as age, environment, and other available resources. Teacher's Manual includes the passages and activities in students' modules, serves as guide to teachers who lack materials, and aids teachers to expand classroom strategies and think of important goals of the curriculum, as mentioned by Andao and Ambayon 2020 and Proof 2019. For the rationale of the study, the Anglo-American Literature Supplemental Teacher's Manual included the following: the literary pieces, background, strategies, and literary devices, as well as other necessary information. Through this guide, teachers will be able to create effective lesson plans, presentations, modules that align and suit the standards given in the curriculum. The study is grounded among the following theories and theoretical framework. The first one is the Constructivist Instructional Theory by Joseph Brunner, 1996. This includes the predisposition towards learning, ways on how to structure the body of knowledge so it can easily be grasped by learners, the most effective sequences in which to present the material, and the pacing of rewards and punishment. The arrangement of the manual is in line with the four predominant aspects mentioned. The Instructional Design Theory by Regaluth, 1989 includes methods of instruction and its considerations including motivation, the process of learning and the learning environment, and the developmental constraints. In the creation of the teacher's manual, the researcher considered the situational factors of the students to decide which method is suited for the particular lesson. Figure 1.1 shows the components in the instructional design theory. The last theory is the didactic theory, which is a form of instructional design theory by Klett 2007. It focuses on the relationship of teacher, learner, and the subject matter and the instructions. It creates a link in teachers' teaching methods and students' learning processes. The study considered the mentioned elements and how they can be integrated into the creation of the Supplemental Teacher's Manual. The conceptual framework included the following paradigm of the study. The study aimed to develop and validate the Supplemental Teacher's Manual in Anglo-American literature. It uses the input-process-output paradigm. The initial variables of this study includes information, instruction, strategies in teaching Anglo-American literature, as well as the teachers, learners, and the learning environment. The process includes validation and evaluation of the designed supplemental manual, as well as the review and revision of the manual. Finally, the output is the validated, developed teacher's manual in teaching Anglo-American literature. The following are the research problems. Generally, this study aimed to develop and validate a supplemental teacher's manual in Anglo-American literature for grade 9 students in one of the public schools in Magalang, Pampanga, in the school year 2021 and 2022. Specifically, the study intended to answer the following queries. Number 1, How may the Supplemental Teacher's Manual in Anglo-American Literature be designed? Number 2, how may the Supplemental Teacher's Manual in Anglo-American Literature be evaluated in terms of content, design or format, and pedagogy? The following methods were used in the conduct of the study. For the research design, quantitative research using a developmental design was used. A developmental research focuses upon a given design, development, or evaluation model or process and aims to produce context-specific knowledge. This study used an instrument provided by the university and utilized a developmental research method as it involves the process of designing and validating a supplemental teacher's manual. The evaluators included 2 sets. Set A includes 10 teachers handling the English 9 subject. They were in charge in evaluating the essential and non-essential topics in the manual using the instrument from the College of Education. Set B includes 1 education program supervisor, 1 principal, 1 head teacher, 1 master teacher, and 6 English teachers with master's degree. They were in charge in evaluating the content, design, format, and pedagogy of the manual. The instrument that was used includes the Digital Education or the DE Online Digital E-Learning ODEL or module, and the evaluating rating sheet for the DE and ODEL. A modified version was used and approved by the Dean of the College of Education. For the procedures, there were 2 phases involved: the development phase and the validation phase. For the development phase, it included the evaluation of essential and non-essential topics. These topics were then used as basis in the development of the Supplemental Teacher's Manual. For the validation phase, it involves the evaluation of content, design, format, and pedagogy of the manual. After, revision editing according to the comments and suggestions were made. This is the validated, developed Supplementary Teacher's Manual. It includes 177 pages, all 13 literary works, including the foreword and definition of terms. It also included personal response strategies, suggested activities, lesson summary, author, historical background, and other necessary information needed by the teacher in the manual. After the conduct of the study, the following results were obtained. Table 1 shows the result obtained from the first set of evaluators regarding the essential and not essential topics included in the Supplemental Teacher's Manual. The results reveal that there are 13 topics retained. The researcher obtained this result using the Loesch table for minimum values of content validity ratio. The researcher includes the topics that obtained a content validity ratio of 0.62 or higher. The Battle with Grendel from Beowulf translated by Bertrand Raffel, The Day of Destiny 2 from Morte d'Arthur by Thomas Mallory, A Psalm of Life by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, The Lottery by Shirley Jackson, and The Story of Romeo and Juliet based on the play of William Shakespeare as told by Bart Marx, obtained a content validity ratio of 1 or perfect. The 7 Ages of Man by William Shakespeare and The Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry obtained a content validity ratio of 0.8. Mother to Son by Langston Hughes, Death of a Salesman Act 1 by Arthur Miller, Requiem, Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller, If by Rudyard Kipling, and Invictus by Ernest Henley obtained 0.6 content validity ratio. The manual was written and designed based on the mentioned literary works. Table 2.1 shows the evaluation rating of the Supplemental Teacher's Manual based on the content of the validators marked factor 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and 1.5, yes, exhibiting that topics or lesson included in the manual are very relevant to the main goal of the course and greatly contribute to the achievement of the specific lesson and objectives. The manual provides information that is very important and useful to the teachers who will be utilizing it, Adequate information is being provided in every lesson with links and references included to guide teachers for further research activities. The content is presented clearly using language that is understandable and suited to the level of the target learners, and the knowledge and ideas being presented in every unit are accurate, recent, and free from errors using terminologies that suit the distinct characteristics of the target learners. Table 2.2 shows the evaluation rating of the Supplemental Teacher's Manual based on design and format. For the initial validation, 9 validators marked factors 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, and 2.5 yes, and 1 validator marked no. For factor 2.4, 10 validators marked yes. For the evaluation of the Supplemental Manual, it was revised and sent to the validators, and the obtained results are the following. All validators marked factors 2.1 to 2.5 with yes, showing that textual information presented clearly with appropriate choice of font size and style, including other formatting features that could enhance the appearance of texts. Proper spacing is observed in between text sentences, paragraphs including margin and indentation to avoid congested page. The graphics used and other media elements utilized are motivating and relevant to the topics presented. Main topics, subtopics, specific discussion, and other important parts of the module are properly labeled for easy recognition. The manual is properly organized and packaged in such a way that all parts complement with one another, and each part contains directions for teachers to follow. The researcher revised the manual according to the comments and suggestions of the evaluators. Specifically, the researcher made the following changes: using the same font style and size throughout the manual, setting the titles and headings in bold font, providing videos and audio links as references for the teacher, and using an outline format in presenting the parts for uniformity. After that, the researcher finally had a 100% yes for the final evaluation. Table 2.3 shows the evaluation rating of the Supplemental Teacher's Manual based on pedagogical. 9 validators marked yes, and 1 marked no for factor 3.1, while for factors 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4, all validators marked yes. For the evaluation of the Supplemental Teacher's Manual, after it was revised and sent to the validators, the obtained results are the following. All validators marked factor 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and 1.5 with yes, presenting that suggested strategies, approaches, and teaching literature are well formulated, gave clear direction, and established a sense of expectancy among teachers. Various motivational and cognitive strategies are properly embedded in every lesson unit to keep students on track. Tasks or activities required in the manual are very relevant to the main objectives of the course, and lessons must be realistic considering the resources available. And the manual provides provision for individual differences by supporting diverse learners with different learning styles, preferences, interests, and experiences. Based on the results of the study, the following conclusions were made. Number 1, there are 13 essential topics in Anglo-American literature that needed to be included in the Supplemental Teacher's Manual. And number 2, the Supplemental Teacher's Manual in Anglo-American literature is valid in terms of content, design, format, and pedagogical factors. The following recommendations were also suggested based on the mentioned findings and conclusions. Number 1, literature teachers may use the Supplemental Teacher's Manual in furthering knowledge regarding the essential literary lessons in Anglo-American literature. Number 2, teachers may follow the manual's instructions and strategies in teaching Anglo-American literature. And lastly, other researchers may use the study as reference or guide for future development and validation of research. That is all for my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.